Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Lili Okvita. I'm from A class English Education Department 5 semester. The people in the back, can you hear me clearly? Okay, good. Have you ever held a question in mind for so long that it becomes part of how you think, maybe even part of who you are as a person? Well, I have had a question in my mind for many years. And that is, how can you speed up learning? Now, this is an interesting question because if you speed up learning, you can spend less time at school. And if you are learning really fast, okay, you probably don't have to go to school at all. Now, when I was young, school was sort of okay, but I found quite often the school got in the way of learning. So, I had this question in mind. So, how do you learn faster? And this began when I was very young, when I was 11 years old. I wrote a letter to research in the Soviet Union asking about Hippopedia. This is sleeping learning, where you get a type recorder, you put it beside your bed, and it turns on in the middle of the night. When you are sleeping and you are supposed to be learning from this, in 109,081, I took myself to China and I decided that I was going to be native level in Chinese inside 2 years. Now, you need to understand that in 109,081, everybody thought Chinese was really difficult and that a Western can't study for 10 years or more and never really get very good at it. And I also went in with a different idea, which was talking of the conclusion from psychological research up to that point and applying them to the learning process. And so my question got refined down to, how can you help a normal adult learn a new language quickly, easily, and effectively? Now, this is a really important question in today's world. The question then is, how do you do that? Well, it's actually really easy. You look around for people who can already do it. You look for situations where it's already working, and then you identify the problem and applying them. Now, when I say this, most people think I'm crazy. This is not possible. So let me remind everybody of the history of human progress. It's all about expanding our limits. 1,000 years ago, everybody believed that heavy stuff doesn't fly, except it does and was all. Notice, how does heavy stuff fly? We recognize the material using principle that we have learned from observing nature. Birds in the cat. Let me tell you about Zoe. Zoe came from Australia, went to Holland, was trying to learn Dutch, struggling extremely a great deal. Finally, people were saying, you are completely useless, you are not talent, give up, you are waste of time. And she was very depressed. And then she came across test 5 principles. She moved to Brazil and she applied them, and 6 months she was fluent in Portuguese. So talent doesn't matter at all. The Chinese living in America, Britain, America, and Canada have been there 10-20 years and they doesn't speak any English. In present, Pencil does not work. Why? Because a drawing man cannot learn to swim. When you doesn't speak a language, you are like a baby. As a kind does. When I first arrived in China and I didn't speak a word of China, it's a really well documented now. It's something called comprehensible input. So comprehension work. Comparison K, and language learning is not about accumulating lots of knowledge. And I started asking for, "Are you deaf?" And she was English deaf. Number one, listen a lot. I can it by asking. You put yourself in a context where you are hearing tones and tones and tones of a language, and it doesn't matter if you understand it or not. China, Paunazoe, English. So just soak your brain in this. How do I do that? I don't know the words. Well, you understand what these different postures mean. It's relevant to learn other things about the language. By week 2, you should be saying this like me, this, you, that, give, you, now, hug. Simple pronouns, simple noun, simple verb, simple adjective, communicating like a baby. What you need to do is realize that everything you know is an image inside your mind, is feelings. If you talk about free smell that smoke, fire. Do them all, or you are going the fluent in a second language is 6 months. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.